The sun had barely begun to dip below the horizon when the fire came. It started as a distant glow, a shimmer across the savanna that at first seemed like nothing more than the day's heat shimmering above the golden grasses. But soon, the shimmer grew into a violent roar. Flames licked the dry air, carried forward by the winds of the season, devouring everything in their path. The land trembled with fear, for the fire was the greatest hunter of them all, merciless, relentless, and unstoppable. Among those caught in its wake was Kanu, a strong and broad-shouldered chimpanzee. His muscles were taut with urgency as he sprinted across the dry plains, clutching his young son, Moyo, tightly against his chest. Moyo whimpered, his small fingers digging into his father's fur, his wide eyes reflecting the orange inferno behind them. "Hold on, little one," Kanu grunted, voice low but steady, though his heart thundered with dread. "I will not let the fire take you." The air was thick with smoke, stinging his throat and making every breath a battle. Sparks drifted like angry fireflies, threatening to ignite the dry grass underfoot. Kanu's instincts screamed at him to find shelter, to climb high into the trees, but the trees were already beginning to burn. The savanna had become a cage, and fire was closing its bars. Kanu ran, and the world ran with him. Behind him, chaos erupted. A warthog burst from the grasses, squealing in terror as flames nipped at its hind legs. Its tusks gleamed like ivory knives, its eyes wild with panic. It was neither friend nor foe in this moment. It was simply another soul fleeing from the same death. Animals of all kinds scattered in every direction. Antelopes bounded blindly, birds filled the skies in frantic flocks, and even the predators abandoned their hunts, for the fire consumed all without distinction. But Kanu's path was blocked. The ground before him shifted, the grasses bending as something massive stirred. From the earth itself, a snake rose. Its scales shimmered in mottled green and gold, catching the firelight in a dreadful sheen. Its body stretched endlessly, thick as a fallen tree, its tongue tasting the air with cold calculation. An ancient python, older than many seasons, coiled across the only open path. Kanu froze, his powerful legs digging into the soil. The fire crackled behind him, closer now, its heat burning against his back. The python lifted its head, unblinking, its black eyes reflecting the desperate figure before it. Moyo whimpered louder. The sound was enough to snap Kanu's hesitation. He knew the snake could strike faster than his eyes could follow, and with Moyo in his arms, he could not fight as he once might have. His mind raced. Fire to his back, snake before him, and panic flooding his heart. But then, something stirred within him, an old instinct, deeper than fear. Kanu was not just a beast of the savanna. He was something more. He was a thinker. He shifted Moyo carefully to his back, where the young one clung like a second skin. Then, gripping a piece of smoldering branch from the ground, Kanu thrust it forward, brandishing fire as a weapon. The python recoiled, hissing. Fire, too, was its enemy. Kanu growled low in his throat, the sound deep and primal. He waved the burning branch in wide arcs, forcing the snake to slither backward, giving just enough room for him to pass. But it was not gone. The serpent circled, watching, waiting, its hunger not forgotten. Kanu did not linger. He pressed forward, his long strides carrying him past the writhing coils, through the smoke, and onto the open plain. The warthog, too, had darted around the serpent, snorting as it fled into the distance. For now, the fire was still the greater danger. The savanna was a battlefield of survival. Ash fell like black snow, and animals collided in their flight. Kanu moved with purpose, his eyes searching for safety. In the distance, the silhouettes of acacia trees stood tall against the fire's glow, their branches untouched, for now. If he could reach them, he and Moyo might climb high enough to escape the flames. But the fire was cunning, carried by the wind, spreading faster than even the swiftest could run. Kanu's breath came ragged, his muscles ached, but still he pressed forward. Moyo's weight was nothing compared to the weight of his promise, his vow to protect his son. Behind them, the python slithered still, following in the shadows. Not deterred, only delayed. Hunger gave it patience, and in this world of fire and flight, it knew its chance would come. They reached the acacias, and Kanu leapt, his powerful arms gripping the rough bark as he climbed. Moyo clung tighter, his small frame trembling but safe. Higher and higher they climbed, until the flames below licked at the base of the tree but could not reach them. From above, Kanu could see the savanna's tragedy. Herds scattered, predators and prey alike united in desperation. The fire moved like a living thing, a predator with endless hunger, leaving nothing but blackened earth in its wake. He pressed Moyo close, whispering softly to calm him, though his own fear had not subsided. Hours passed, or perhaps it was only moments. Time had lost meaning in the roar of flames and the choking smoke. At last, the fire began to move on, carried away by the wind, leaving behind smoldering ruins. The land was scarred, but it still stood. Kanu descended cautiously, his body weary but unbroken. He set Moyo gently upon the ground, where the young one clung to him still, eyes wide with awe and terror. The python was gone. Perhaps it had been swallowed by the fire, or perhaps it still lingered in the darkness, waiting. Kanu did not care. For now, he had survived, and so had his son. That was all that mattered. As dawn broke, the savanna lay quiet, blanketed in ash. The survivors emerged slowly, birds returning to charred branches, antelope stepping cautiously over blackened earth, the warthog snorting from the distance. Life had not been extinguished. It had endured, as it always did. Kanu stood tall, his chest rising with steady breath. His fur was singed, his muscles aching, but his spirit unbroken. He looked to Moyo, who gazed back at him with eyes full of trust, admiration, and something more, something new. Hope. In that moment, Kanu understood that survival was more than strength, more than speed, more than instinct. It was the fire inside, the will to protect, to endure, to think, and to rise again. And as the sun rose over the scarred but living savanna, Kanu carried his son forward, ready to face whatever trials the world would bring. The fire had tested them, but they had endured. And in enduring, they had become something greater.